Welcome to a discussion of Chinese utility plans. And Chinese utility plans is also part and an adjunct to the Utility Environmental Tracking System, which covers every coal-fired power plant in the world. But because China is so big and so many coal-fired power plants in operation and under construction, we have a separate service just for them. And you can go into our Chinese e-alert and you can click on a particular month. We're taking March here, for instance, and you can see the projects that we're quoting on here. Of course, the number of plants coming into commercial operation. As you can see, we are providing this information both in Chinese and in English in the same alert. And we get into a lot of details on the business side as well as CO2, nuclear gasification. There's a lot going on in China as relative to of coal to fuels. And in fact, we're even running hot topic webinars on the subject and listening to people like Headwaters talk about their successes here. The alert is a monthly edition. You can access the information on the plants in a number of different ways. For instance, if you want to go in by startup date, we can click a startup date. Let's say click 2009 as a startup date. Let's click, here's one of the plants that started up here, Taizhou. Here's the Chinese name, the utility name that owns it, the size, the year it started up, the type of coal, type of boiler, who supplied the boiler, and other information about the ownership of the plant. And we can look at it other ways. If you go in by plant itself, you can click by plants for a specific utility. So we do that. You can see all the plants that belong to a particular utility going in this way. So for CPI, here would be all their plants, or for Dateng coming up, all the plants are listed sequentially here. It's another way to look at it. You can go in by pollutant or equipment category and see FTD control installations and components, and see who might be supplying ball mills, for instance, and look at some of the Metco ball mill installations, or Outokumpu, or Krupp, and so forth there. So that's another way of looking at it. You can look at FGD market shares. Here are some of the larger companies and how many they have sold. And for instance, for Guodian Longyuan here, 95% of their systems have been limestone gypsum and 5% seawater. We have a lot of information on the catalyst manufacturers, and this is critical because there's a rapid increase in the number of installations of SCR, so the question is whether the catalyst suppliers are going to be able to build capacity soon enough. But you can see that this particular company is going to add 12,000 normal meters cubed per year of catalyst in 2009 to catch up to to catch up to the market. Of course, now it's a couple of years later, so they're in operation with that. So we have that kind of information. We do track each of the SCR installations as well. So you can go in and look at all the installations. And as you can see here, you can scroll down through the plants that do have SCR in operation at the present time. So, and you can look at FTD Systems too, and you can go in by supplier, and again, going to anyone like CPI, Yuanda. These would all be FTD systems that have been installed by CPI Yuanda, and of course some of them at their own plants, and this would be a description of what type of system went in and who was the supplier of the system. It's another example in the website there So you can search the entire site, for any kind of question that you might have. We do have some plant addresses and telephone numbers in there as well, and we are coordinating this with the utility upgrade tracking system, which has information on the other companies around the world that are utilizing coal-fired technology. There's a tremendous amount going on in China. They're building coal plants regularly. They're down to maybe 20,000 megawatts a year. They have been as high as 100,000 megawatts a year, which would be a couple every week. Now they're probably down to one every 2 or 3 weeks. But even so, there's a lot going on. There's a lot going on playing catch-up on NOx control. They have regulations that were just in their most recent plan that will require utilities in the more populated areas to retrofit SCR, as well as, of course, all the new plants having to put in SCR. There's still some retrofit activity in FTD, a lot going on in particulate. As I mentioned before, there are a number of coal to chemical systems, a lot going on nuclear and solar and wind. China is certainly leading the world, and there's information in the alert on those activities as well. So this is a comprehensive database on China, and we thank you for spending some time to hear a little bit about that. And we will look forward to any of your questions. You can contact me, Bob McIlvaine, at 847-784-0012, extension 112. Thanks for listening.